All right, we have some news on this Thursday afternoon. The Rams, they have released the perennial All-Pro, Bobby Wagner. Only one season we got to see Wagner in the 45 in that Rams uniform. Obviously, the longtime Seattle Seahawk tormented the 49ers for quite a while in the Pacific Northwest. Still a really good player. Didn't see as much success against the 49ers, though, this past season. In fact, probably the biggest hit that Bobby Wagner delivered in a game involving the 49ers was not against the 49ers themselves. It was against the streaker. Remember that fan or activist, whoever it was, that ran onto the field at Levi Stadium? Wagner leveled him. Crowd really appreciated it. Went viral on social media. That's what we'll remember Bobby Wagner for in a Rams uniform, at least from the 49ers' perspective. Anyway, he's a cap casualty. The Rams save $5 million with this release of Bobby Wagner. We can take a look at the contractual situation here on Over the Cap, help you understand what's going on. The Rams, before this move, about $14 to $15 million over the cap, so they have to find a way to get compliant by the time that the new league year starts. So as you can see, they signed Wagner to a 5-year, $50 million deal, but the signing bonus portion of it was only $5 million. So that's prorated $1 million per season for cap purposes. Now, there is a roster bonus that kicks in here in the 2023 season, which adds to the dead money hit. And dead money ends up being money that you've guaranteed or already paid Bobby Wagner that needs to hit the cap at some point. So the dead money hit's going to be $7.5 million. His cap number would have been $12.5 million had he been on the Rams this season. So the Rams do save $5 million. They'll still have about $9 or $10 million that they need to clear even after this Bobby Wagner move. But the natural next question is, can the 49ers use Bobby Wagner? 33-year-old linebacker, obviously one of the all-time greats at the position. Anytime there's a player this good on the open market, you ask the question. And to illustrate, that Wagner is still playing really well, take a look at his PFF grades here from this season. This is just a quick look. Look at the bottom of the screen here. I'm going to screenshot this just so you can have it in a bigger format right there. You started 2012, which was his first year in the league with Seattle, and go all the way through the decade to 2022. The overall defensive grade, with Seattle, especially in his prime, 16, 17, 18, scores above 86, over 90 for 2 years there in 17 and 18. Wagner was really, really good. I think there was a season in 2018, I believe, where he missed only one tackle all season. Then he started to drop off a little bit, right? This PFF grade went down to 71.8. The missed tackle rate was much higher in 2020 and 2021. But let's be honest, Bobby Wagner had a resurgence with the Rams this past year. 90.7 overall grade. Run defense, 91.1. The tackling, again, really good after a little bit of an erosion. He isn't as good in coverage as somebody like Fred Warner. Maybe not even as good in coverage as somebody like Dre Greenlaw, but Wagner is as sure-handed as they come when it relies on run defense and on the duties that come with having the green dot on your helmet, the radio in your helmet. He still is a very, very good football player, even as he enters advanced age. And that's typically the case with future Hall of Famers. So can the 49ers use Wagner? Well, here's their depth chart as it stands today. And I'm going to zoom in on the linebacker position. Maybe even highlight it here. 5 players under contract. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Oren Burks has slid into the Azeez Al-Shire role because Al-Shire is no longer under contract for 2023. Probably won't be retained. He had drawn interest as a restricted free agent last season. And that means that he's probably going to draw a lot more interest as an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Marcelino McCrary-Ball re-signed to a 1-year deal. Curtis Robinson re-signed to a reserve future contract. These two guys right here, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, are the best linebacker duo in football. They clearly established themselves as such this past season. So if Bobby Wagner comes in, he would have to be one of the top 3 linebackers, right? The 49ers are set at 1 and 2. Yeah, I get it. Bobby Wagner, Hall of Famer, great player. Maybe you put him a little bit higher than somebody like Dre Greenlaw in the pecking order, but probably not, because I think that Greenlaw does a lot of stuff so well for the 49ers. If anything, Bobby Wagner would have to displace Fred Warner, and that's not happening, right, with the radio in his helmet. But the only spot that I see for Bobby Wagner right here is the strong side linebacker position, or the third linebacker. And that would make the 49ers an all-star team at linebacker, right? Because they would have Warner, they'd have Greenlaw, and they'd have Wagner. But there's a price point for these types of things. If you're looking for a true Mike, well, then yeah, if you're looking for a true Mike linebacker, then you pay the guy. But if you're looking for a third linebacker, which the 49ers, I think, are looking for, barring injury, right? If there's an injury, they might be looking for a 1 or a 2. If you're looking for a third guy, especially if you're up against the cap and the 49ers have to be efficient with their money, I don't think you're going to be as willing to pay for Bobby Wagner as a lot of other teams will be willing to pay for Bobby Wagner. Now, there's a chance that he is willing to play for less, right, to join a contender. But I think that chance is small. And I think that Bobby Wagner's pride, this is a guy that's going to want to have the green dot on his helmet. And that's Fred Warner's job with the 49ers. So, yes, the 49ers can theoretically use Bobby Wagner in that third linebacker spot. But, like, this is a situation where it's not Madden. You can't just be filling out third linebacker spots with future Hall of Fame players. It's not going to be a feasible thing to do. Okay, so Rams are in cap hell. $10 million still need to be cleared for the Rams. The 49ers are going to sit back and eat their popcorn as the Rams have to sit in this and lose good football players like Bobby Wagner. But I don't think that the 49ers are really in a position to where they could benefit from somebody like Bobby Wagner, because the price point would be too high. If the price point's lower, fine. Third linebacker, mix in there. After the 2021 season, it was a little bit more of a question, because the 49ers were in a spot where Dre Greenlaw had only played 2 or 3 games. Azeez Al-Shaair was coming up on the end of his contract. Greenlaw wasn't re-signed yet. Fred Warner was on a long-term deal. You could rely on him. But now, after 2022, Greenlaw's established himself. Al-Shaair is probably leaving. They're going to use that third spot, doesn't play nearly as much, isn't on the field, and nickel. So they're going to be grooming a younger player to be in that position. And a player like Bobby Wagner, unless he's ready to start sailing off into the sunset with a retirement job, trying to win a ring. And, I showed you the way he was playing this past year. It was still really good. I don't think he's in that mode yet. So unless he's wanting to do that and take a discount, I don't see how he'd fit into the 49ers situation. But that's the way that it would have to work. Anyway, Rams cap casualty. Bobby Wagner gone. That memory of him knocking over the protester on the field, that's one the 49ers fans will have for a little while, because that was entertaining. That guy had, I don't know what he was carrying with him, but he had a flare with him and it was giving out pink smoke. I think people initially thought it was a gender reveal. Turned out that it wasn't. But Bobby Wagner leveled him, decided to take matters into his own hands. And now Bobby Wagner is going to get to decide where he signs next. All right, everybody take care. That's the news for Thursday.